Hey, this is Paul from Guitar World, and today we'll be looking at a collection of Ibanez pedals. These are brand new releases this year from Ibanez, so we'll take a close look at each one. The three Ibanez pedals that we have are a combination of old and new, starting with the Ibanez Flying Pan pedal, which is a reissue of the vintage 70s unit, which combines phasing, panning, and tremolo into one box. Over here, we have Steve Vai's signature pedal. It's brand new, as you can tell with Steve Vai's signature color scheme over here. It's a combination of Steve Vai's favorite overdrive and distortion pedals in one pedal. And last but not least, we have the Ibanez Tube King, which is an update of another vintage Ibanez pedal that uses a 12AX7 preamp tube in its circuit. Let's begin by looking at the Ibanez Flying Pan pedal, which is essentially a phaser pedal, but because it's the flying pan pedal, it is also a panning pedal. So you really get the most out of this pedal if you use it in a stereo configuration. Now, of course, I have it set up in mono and it works just as fine by using it in mono, but to get the most out of the panning part of it, you need two amplifiers, because this is essentially a square wave type of phaser. So to hear the bounce back between the two amps, you have to run it in stereo. There is also a pan speed knob over here at the end, which allows you to vary the speed so you can really get a very choppy pan between two amplifiers. But it works just as well in mono. You just have to set over here the phase select switch, which output you're running. Right now I have it running out of the right. And of course we have the standard phase speed and feedback depth knobs of a typical phaser pedal. And also there's a pan on-off switch and a phase on-off switch. So let's begin by hearing this pedal. Let's hear a standard phase. I basically have the speed and depth at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock-ish, and I have a clean sound. And let's turn that on and hear what that sounds like. Sticking with that sound, let's turn on the pan switch over here. As you can see over here, I have the speed pretty fast, so let's hear what that sounds like. The flying pan square wave type of phaser becomes more apparent as you turn up the depth and the speed, and I'll hit the pan on-off switch as well. So let's begin by hearing that type of phase. Here we go. So as you just heard, by activating the pan switch, the phase becomes that more dramatic. It only falls into tremolo territory. So now let's move over to where this thing really shines when you pump some distortion on top of that. So let's take a listen. Sticking with some gain pumped into the flying pan, what we're going to do is we're going to crank up the depth and the speed and the pan speed as well, and you can really make this unit soar. Let's take a listen. Moving over to the Gemini distortion pedal, this is Steve Vai's signature pedal, which, as I said before, combines both an overdrive circuit and a distortion circuit into one pedal. And you can tell which is which by depressing the pedal, and you can see we have the LEDs which surround each of the knobs, and that's over here, we have the red colored LED, which activates the distortion, and over here the green also activates the overdrive. The bummer about this pedal is that you can't cascade the circuits into one another. It's either having the overdrive on or just a distortion on, so you can't use both circuits at once. The one interesting thing about the Gemini is it has a switch here called Brighten Save. So because this pedal runs on batteries, when you activate either of the pedal's LEDs, which illuminate the pedal, they kind of suck on a lot of the battery power. So what you can do is if you go to save mode, it reduces the battery drainage. So you can see the LEDs become a little softer. And of course, if I go to bright, they become instantly brighter. So save obviously saves your battery power. So you might want to use bright on a very dark stage. And if you're outside, maybe you use the save. So let's begin by hearing the first side of this pedal, which is the overdrive portion. Here's my clean sound. And here is the pedal. Now, of course, you can vary the sound a bit. I can cut the drive down a bit and boost the level. And let's hear what that sounds like. And finally, let's hear the pedal cranked. Now let's move over to the distortion side of things, which is the red LEDs over here. And right now I have the pedal cranked. So let's hear what that sounds like. Changing things up a bit, I pulled back the drive on this, so you get to hear what that sounds like, and I have the level cranked. So you can almost get a slight hint of overdrive on the distortion side. Here we go. Finally, let's reach home plate, which is this diamond-shaped object of a pedal, which is the Tube King, which is a reissue or an update of the vintage Tube King pedal, which also employs a 12AX7 tube as its preamp section. Now, there's a slight update to this Tube King pedal, which is really neat because We have an added noise gate, but this is a better noise gate. I mean, the original had a slight noise reduction circuit, but this has an actual noise gate, and it's called the void knob. So you can turn it off or turn it on. It has the standard controls of low, mid, and high as your EQ section. There's also a presence switch for high and low, and then, of course, your standard drive and level controls. And this pedal is really interactive with the EQ section, and you'll hear. So it is your basic distortion circuit, and it really sounds great. Let's hear it. Okay, let's take a listen. Here's my clean sound. And let's transform that into a tube-driven sound. So as I said before, that the EQ controls are very interactive, so you can really sculpt lows and mids and highs. It's different from other pedals. I'll show you what I mean. I'll start moving the knob so you can hear how dramatic the change is. Here we go. Also, let's see the drive control. Right now I have it cranked, so you hear the most amount of gain you can get out of this pedal. And let's cut that down a bit to halfway so you get to hear what it sounds like halfway. And let's cut it down to even more. Here we go. Last but not least, let's take a look at the void knob, which is really cool. It's a great noise gate on this pedal, because if I turn this pedal up, you can hear how noisy it is. Now let me activate the void knob, and that's just right here at 10 o'clock. It's already quiet. So there you go. It's very quiet. And the very cool thing about this void knob is that you can do some pretty nifty tricks with this noise gate. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to crank the void knob all the way up. I'm going to throw a little echo on my amp. And with the gain dime, you'll hear this rhythmic thing I can do with it. Check it out. Ibanez's brand new pedal line, which includes the Tube King, the Gemini, and the Flying Pan pedal, offer a great deal of versatility and sounds. Check them all out.